Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's two guys' take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the HB5 studios right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggun, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. Our special guest, Southern Grace Distillery, so we are excited to have them on the show. But before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I'm talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina. He's 2016's Honorable Mention Father of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old Mike number one. It's Mojo! How about you, buddy?
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. How about you?
Oh, living the dream, buddy. Living it.
Hey, guys, you can find us on the interwebs at www.southernfriedphilosophy. You can also find us at Instagram and Twitter at SFP Radio, and also on the Facebooks at Southern Fried Philosophy. So, how you be doing this week, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. Also want to introduce Jeremy. He is going to be our third wheel for the next couple of months.
Back again.
Check it, wreck it, let's begin.
Full effect.
So we just got off Valentine's Day. I had a hot, smoking Valentine's Day night with the wife.
Where'd you order in from?
Nowhere. Oh, we went and got Zaxby's salad. How romantic is that?
Zack Attack.
And then we've got, we had our taxes looked at.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
I got mine back today.
So is that foreplay?
No, somebody got screwed on that. It wasn't.
Uncle Sam wasn't brought in.
You're right. We had a trifecta on that one.
Jeez.
And then we got home, watched the Kentucky game, which you can't say, love about that. And then she wrapped up the evening with This Is Us and me going to bed early. How about it?
Sounds like my exciting night, too.
Yeah? Did you bring the heat?
Man, 20 years, we celebrate Valentine's every day. Is that the cliche thing when you don't buy anything for Valentine's? You just say, we celebrate it every day?
Yeah.
So that's kind of us, man. We try to remember each other each day. But yeah, Valentine's, my wife flew in from Arizona from a business trip, so she didn't get here till like 8 o'clock at night. And of course she was pretty much airline drunk. Not from the mini bottles, but from just traveling all day.
Sure,
so,
understand that.
So brought her home, and I got her liquored up with some NyQuil. And,
nice.
Because she had a little cold, and put her to bed. So that's pretty much it. And then me and my oldest daughter, we went to a Taco Tuesday night at the local taco eatery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Here's a joke there. I'm just gonna leave it.
I worked so many Valentines in the restaurant industry that you kind of just these holidays like that just kind of bleed into one another, but make you kind of sick too, just because 16 years straight, man, all I did was just cook Valentines all day long. So I don't miss that. I mean, I miss it because of the energy and the productivity, but you kind of see what the real world, the civilians are going through. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Jeremy, what about you?
We're newlyweds, so if listeners remember, we were on a few episodes back, and we did basically the same thing as you guys. So
yeah,
you pulled the old married couple card.
We watched The Bachelor because we missed it on Monday.
Okay,
and went to bed.
She did want to watch The Walking Dead, and we would have if the Kentucky game wasn't on. You can't. That's romance, right? I mean.
You gotta get the two TV set up like I have. I'll show you that after. I've got two TVs on top of each other so that she can watch what she wants on the bottom. I can have a game up on top.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So you got the sports bar going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Do you have like headphones or anything like that, or is it just?
No, usually when I'm watching sports, I leave it without the sound.
It's probably because she made you. Gotcha.
I just hate the announcers. Some of those announcers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But usually it ends up with me watching sports on one and playing video games on the other. So
there you go.
Ms. Leanne, what'd you do for Valentine's?
Let's see. I was in prison.
Wow.
We'll explain that in a little while. So.
Actually, my husband was really sweet. He had been to Spain a couple weeks ago, and he had gotten me these beautiful Mallorca pearl earrings.
Oh, wow.
And woke me up with those. So that was very sweet. And we've been married almost 21 years. So.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
21 years.
Yeah, he's making it hard for the rest of y'all.
Evidently so. I thought I was doing good just by picking my wife up from the airport, not making her take an Uber.
Nailed it. And if you're listening, and we've got Leanne, and she is with Southern Grace Distilleries, and she will be joining us for the show. So we're gonna go ahead and at least let you know who you're listening to.
That's right.
So we went through the Valentine's Day stuff. Let's talk about a little bit of some wacky news that happened around the world.
Ooh, baby, it's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. Every time I look around, it's in my face.
All right, so here is my wacky news that I brought in. A Pennsylvania woman died Sunday morning, and this is not a laughing matter, but there's so many questions in this. A Pennsylvania woman died Sunday morning after her arm got stuck in a clothing donation bin, leaving her unable to call for help. This woman, Judith Permar, 46, Mount Carmel, went to drop off in the town of Natalie around 2:30 a.m., and she was discovered around 8:30 p.m. and pronounced dead at the scene. The engine of her black Hummer were still running, and bags of clothes were still in the bin. The coroner reported that she died from blunt force trauma to the head and hypothermia. So as they were actually doing some investigation, it looks like that she wasn't trying to put clothes into...
Trying to get stuff out.
She was trying to get stuff out, yeah, in the back of a Hummer. She got her hand stuck in, and she was on a little... step ladder to try to get the stuff out, and she fell, and she couldn't get out. She couldn't call for help, couldn't do anything.
Wow.
I mean, goodness gracious.
Darwin Award right there.
Yeah, you would think, and the family's kind of mortified at that. She didn't think that she was taking stuff out. They thought that she was putting stuff in, but what do you do with those clothes?
Well, she's probably a reseller, like on eBay.
Oh, you know what? That's probably a good call.
How do you think she got that Hummer? She's doing
That's right.
You're right. Goodness gracious. So if that's not a call to have a medical alert bracelet on you, I don't know what is.
What's crazy is that this isn't a one-time thing, because if this was a one-time thing, they wouldn't have contraptions in there to stop you from stealing it. Your arm wouldn't get stuck.
Right.
It would just be like an open, there's stuff there that people donate, but people do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Dollars to donuts, I bet you the family will sue the organization for something, for manslaughter.
They'll be like
contributing premeditated something. I guarantee you.
They'll have to be like a quick release valve or something like installed on those things.
Yeah, they're like a call button. I guarantee you there will be some lawsuit. Though. Yeah,
let's get our law degree real quick and then see if we can get that going.
Well, there's probably a website we can do that real quick.
Mike Ross.
But I guarantee you there'll be a lawsuit.
Wow, that's a good point. Anybody else have any wacky news?
I've got an interesting little thing. Be honest with this now, all three of you. Have you ever edited a Wikipedia page?
I have not.
No?
No. My husband does it all the time.
Love it. You have?
No.
No? Wow. No. So this is a new thing that I found.
Okay.
This kid in England was going to see a band. Let's see, what was the band? I don't even see it anymore, but he's going to see a band, and he got in. Crowd is packed.
Okay.
Could barely see the stage, so he's had a few whiskeys, and hops into Wikipedia, edits the Wikipedia page, saying that he is the cousin of the lead singer and inspired their hit song. Shows it to the bouncer, gets into the VIP section.
That's pretty genius.
Yeah,
that's
got away with it. There's on this article, and we can put it up on the Facebook page. There's screenshots of his edit, like where he edited it, what time he edited it, everything, like proof that he did. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I thought that was a pretty good one.
I can go on the Wikipedia page and say I am like John Calipari's long lost son.
Exactly.
And I can get in all the Kentucky games.
Yeah, it was
great.
It was the Sherlocks is who he went to see. And in the band history, it says they released their first single, "Live for the Moment," 2014, influenced by main vocalist Kieran Crook's cousin Adam Boyd.
Oh wow! There you go.
Proof enough, right there, evidently.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess you could just do that with anything.
It's smart,
huh?
Good old. And people wonder why editing or why Wikipedia is not a good source for term papers. I have edited a Wikipedia page before, though, by the way.
What was that one?
I don't remember. I think it may have been like the Washington Capitals or something like that. But it gets edited pretty quickly.
Really? So you got the fact checkers out there?
Oh,
for
yeah.
the old Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah.
Snopes.
Yeah.
The old cat lady's doing it. Double check.
Discount double check. It's
Well-
actually Aaron Rodgers, right?
That's right. If you would have been in Israel yesterday for Valentine's Day,
Oh man, I missed it.
yeah,
This is a good one.
you could have gone by Burger King after the hours of 6 p.m. And they were not only dishing out kids' Happy Meals, but they were also dishing out adult Happy Meals.
Okay.
Part
So
of this
these are like bigger burgers,
kind
more
of sort of,
fries.
yeah, kind of sort of that.
those
Well,
things?
these meals come fully equipped.
Okay.
They had 2 Whoppers,
Oh yeah,
2 French fries,
I'm about it.
2 beers,
Hello.
and an adult toy.
What?
So
That's good
talking
value.
about?
yeah, the adult options for this right here were a feather duster. What are you going to do? Clean?
Well, yeah, that is an adult. That's like,
A
dang it,
head-
I gotta do
a head
cleaning.
massager
Okay.
and or a blindfold.
Wait, are
So-
we? What kind of head massage are we talking
Let's
about?
stay away from that.
It's
Okay.
it's a little spider-looking thing that goes over your head.
Those are
So-
actually really nice, right? You
Yeah,
just,
but I
like,
didn't know that was
massage your
classified
head.
as a sex toy though.
I-
So all I know is I wonder.
You just need a little
Weird.
imagination.
That's right. But all I want to know is
Hey, the bottle
that
of
you
Fun
got
Dog.
you got the sex toy that you didn't want. Can you go trade it in for
Oh,
an
yeah.
ice cream like you do at Chick-fil-A with the kids?
or like if you decide, hey, I want to try out this blindfold while I'm driving. Probably not a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. That'd probably not go over too well. So you got to give it up to Burger King in Israel.
Now, let's talk about that. So when you get home, like, do you say, "Hey, baby, look what I got you for Valentine's Day"? A blindfold with like a little BK emblem on the side of
Well,
it.
obviously you thought it out because there's 2 Whoppers in there.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so
Yeah, and
you-
she's like, I thought you got Whoppers too.
yeah,
No?
yeah. So
No,
you,
you ate
you're
them all?
obviously thinking ahead of the game. This is your Valentine's special meal.
Wow.
So unless you ate both of them on the way home, which I've done before, but how cheap of a date do you have to be to buy that?
Shut up! I went to Zaxby's last night. I didn't get anything for that thing. I got a salad.
Were they giving away free sex
No.
toys? Okay.
No, they wouldn't even give me crayons to color. Like
They
nothing.
charge you for extra dressing.
They probably did.
Probably so.
Now they give you 2 packs of blue cheese dressing. Like that's way too much, people. Like you should not have 2 packs of blue cheese dressing.
That's like almost like 7 ounces, I think, of
I mean,
dressing.
it's like a whole bottle. Like
Yeah.
just pour it on there.
That wouldn't be enough for me.
Oh, really?
Listen, as my wife knows, whenever she orders something, she's like, I need an embarrassing amount of sauce.
Oh yeah, like sauce, yes.
She
but
won't go
like
to Subway with
dressing
me.
for a salad, no. Would you pour out an ungodly amount of salad
He
dressing?
likes a
So,
little salad with his dressing.
I take salads to work sometimes because
Okay,
You
try
take
to
dress. You
trying
take
to-
dressing to work.
trying to take the baby
trying to do a
off.
little bit better.
And I go through a bottle in a week.
Seriously.
Holy moly!
Four salads because I have to go out once. 4 salads, bottle a week.
Nope.
Sam's Club size bottle. Too.
5-gallon bottle.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Goodness.
it comes in the pump.
How many pumps is that per salad?
You don't even want to know, man.
Do you just like carry a bowl of dressing and just dip your salad in it?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that'd be a good call.
I should.
So let's talk a little bit about this thing that's coming out now, and this is where it's 2 guys take. So there's a House Bill 69, ironically, that is out on the floor of North Carolina, the House of Representatives. And this is facts are optional, so I'm going to give you what I think the bill says.
Facts are optional.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much news today anyway?
Yeah. This is
Pretty much.
this is what I think it says. Now we encourage you to go and actually do your own investigation. But from what I understand, it's a concealed carry law in North Carolina that says anybody that owns a firearm can just carry around the weapon. And
Yeah,
Concealed.
actually carry today. So as long as you have a holster, we're an open carry state. There's only so many open carry states in
Right.
the union. You can, as long as you have a holster on your side, you can carry open carry handgun.
right. But this one is specifically saying concealed carry. You don't need a permit anymore. Just throw it in your car under your,
That's right.
shirt,
And
whatever.
I'm sure. Well, except for maybe some of our northern listeners, but in most of the states you have a CWP or concealed weapons permit. You have to actually go to a testing class.
Right.
You have to shoot a target. You have to a little bit of weapon. Well, I shouldn't say weapons training, but just a little bit of gun training, safety, things like that.
And knowledge of the law. Like you have to go through the process and like
You can't
understand
carry in a
what the law
bar.
says.
Can't carry.
You
things
can't actually carry in a bar now.
Yeah,
You just can't drink.
that's right. You can't carry in a school. Things
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Hospital.
Also, but they do an FBI background check too.
Correct.
So, this bill will obviously eliminate that. And anyone who has a legal gun in their name should be able to carry. But the thing I actually read the bill, it was kind of
Oh, that's a shocker. I give you like what I think it says, and you actually read the bill.
No, just actually a lot of the stuff they actually took out was pretty amazing, but they're listing the things that you cannot carry as weapons.
Right. So now keep in mind, you can carry a firearm, but you can't carry these things.
You can't carry a Bowie knife, a Bowie knife.
Okay.
I mean, because those things are like 9 inches long.
Speaking of,
A dirk. Do you know what a dirk is?
I have not
Okay, I'm not
any
familiar.
idea.
A slung shot, not a slingshot, but a slung shot.
So it's
That's
a
a used
slingshot that's
slingshot.
already been used.
Yeah, I was about to say,
at
is
the
that
pawn
past?
shop?
Is that the past tense? You know. So a slung shot. You cannot carry a loaded cane.
Okay.
I did not know that because I think one time I had surgery on my knee and someone bought me a cane with a dagger in it. So evidently I was riding dirty. So metallic knuckles.
Oh, okay. So no.
No brass knuckles.
What about like plastic
or ceramic or porcelain.
Oh yeah. Here's my toilet.
A razor. And I
Like
wish
a
they would.
shaving
must be
razor, like
razor
Harry's
blade.
razor.
Yeah, like Harry's razors or the Razor Club, Dollar Razor Club.
Not
Yeah.
sponsored by
Ching.
either.
That's right.
Yeah,
A shuriken. Do you know what a shuriken is?
No.
I do.
What
The
is
Ninja
that?
Throwing star.
You cannot carry Chinese throwing stars.
I thought it was going to be a little person. To be honest with you, I don't know what it
Oh
was,
my-
but I thought it was a little person.
I have a Ninja Star.
Do you?
Can't carry it.
You?
It was made by a prisoner. It's in my shank collection.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to learn more about that.
Stun guns. I didn't know you.
Really?
Yeah. So
Is it just concealed or like just?
You've got a holster with a stun gun.
Well,
on it.
hey,
it
buddy.
says you cannot willingly or intentionally carry these concealed.
Wow. Okay,
Interesting.
concealed. So you can
But-
carry it just in case.
Yeah, but you got a
Yeah.
stun gun on your side. No way
Yeah.
it's got them in a pocketbook or a pocket, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So I guess where do we stand on this?
So I brought.
Now you are from Virginia. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're going to be the Yankee of the group.
It's sad when Virginia's a Yankee, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but we actually wrote a House bill to have the Mason-Dixon line actually move towards Raleigh because anything above that is
that's
pretty much
probably
Yankee. Yeah,
Man, getting rid of the capital. Getting rid of Richmond.
you can have that.
We don't want
It's been taken over. I'm sorry. Now we'll take Abington, Virginia, and Bristol.
There you
We
go.
Like that, so.
Downton Abbey. All right. So what say you?
So yeah, I obviously am a libertarian. If you've listened to the other podcasts, and am very much a constitutionalist. But I had this conversation with a friend a few weeks ago, actually, who is pretty liberal, but is also going to grad school as a constitutional major,
Wow.
which is interesting to
That's
me.
kind of that's ironic. Isn't it?
Yeah. So I asked him what his stance on guns was, and I've got this. Be pretty quick. I've always been a staunch supporter of your right to have a weapon in your house. Having said that, I've historically thought that having large caliber sheds of automatic weapons is asking for trouble. The phrase "I need to gun protect my family" is a dipshit response to a question that you really want to answer. I like guns. Now, I've had that in mind for years, but recently, especially with stronger interest and attention paid to the Constitution, I've been wavering. This is where we get interesting. And the sole reason for that is based on constitutional rights. It's your constitutional right to vote. So I'm a strong believer that you don't need an ID card to vote. And if you strongly believe that, you shouldn't have to pay or go through loops to use a constitutional right. Now, if I apply that to the same logic to the Second Amendment, I find myself in a hypocritical situation.
Okay. That's
So,
interesting.
Constitutional right to bear arms, shouldn't have to go through, jump through hoops and everything to do that. My only defense is that guns freaking kill people, and we should not have people with mental disorders.
Our votes kill people too. So
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that coming from someone who's a little more on the left, but also has that strong study of the Constitution, would have that. It was surprising to me, but thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
Leanne, do you have any thoughts on the subject?
I got into making liquor so that I could leave my former job, which was chief of staff to a congressman, and I worked at the White House, and I used to have to deal with all this all the time.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I just make liquor now.
it's probably
Good
safer.
answer.
That's a great answer right there. Perfect. Mojo, any thoughts? Well,
No,
yeah, of
I'm
course. What?
I'm for it. I mean,
You're for
for
the House bill.
yeah, for the House bill because number one, in the Constitution, nowhere does it say you have the right to bear arms except, and it gives these reasons why. I also think it's kind of a great blind assumption if you if you believe everyone could have had the potential of carrying, it could knock down some of the tomfoolery out there where people think they're going to get out and whoop some butt, for road rage or something like that. But anyway, I'm for it. I think it'll.
Wow.
Yeah, for someone who's been held up twice at my business and attempted robbery when I was driving, I'm all about it. So.
Wow. So I'm going to be the naysayer on that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't believe that you should.
Okay.
I think that you should go through your background checks and that you should at least have any knowledge of what you should and shouldn't carry. Because if you just say, no, you can carry, then you're going to have people that take them into schools where they shouldn't have them in there, or the law. The law says you're not supposed to have them in school. So how are they going to know that? Because the House bill still says you can't still take them into schools and
where
places like that. So you've got to at least know the rights of, or where you can and can't take it. There are going to be jacktards that carry it and drink, because they can. And you've got a lot of people that don't have any training or any thought of the process of what could happen when you pull that trigger. At least when you go through the training, they say, hey, you got to be mindful of not only pulling the trigger, but where the bullet's going to go, and you're responsible for that. These guys are just I'm afraid they could turn into the Wild Wild West. I do agree with your point of the more guns that people could have, that the less crime potentially could happen. I also agree with your point of the Constitution, but I also look at the safety of others and realize that could be a bad thing.
Well, I think if you look historically, though, is that anytime we rely on the government to keep us safe instead of common sense and decisions, I think we make huge mistakes. For example, when did all of a sudden they stop allowing people to? When did they introduce these concealed carry things? I mean, how long? I mean, it's just like the Department of Education conversation. Like, well, we can't have education without the Department of Education. Not really. 1971 is when they implemented this. I think we had educated people before that. I mean,
right.
So I hate that we have to. I just don't like the fact that we think we have to rely on the government to keep us safe. And I can see the point. There'll be jacktards out there, but these are the same jacktards that are driving vehicles and operating lawnmowers.
Right.
I mean, so.
But they're not in the bar like carrying, and like you get in an argument with somebody and be like, oh, well, look what I can do now, and because they don't know the law, like jacktard, you're not supposed to bring it in here.
Well, statistically, also, if you look at I can't remember if I think it's the FBI.gov website statistics where it shows the towns that you have higher concentration of gun ownership, you have less crime. And
I agree with that point, but if it's just anybody gets to throw one in their pocket, then that's going to be a problem, I think.
Well, but once again, is it your right or a privilege?
I think that it's a right, but at least go through the classes to make sure that you understand what those laws are.
Yeah, I understand, but that's kind of almost making it a privilege, because you're having to go through it to get the privilege of carrying it.
Asking permission to use a right.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents. But
I understand.
And I understand what you're saying, because trust me, I would hate for my 13-year-old daughter to carry, because I can't even trust her to put her glasses back up in the correct place. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
Anyway, thanks for letting us talk about this, because I think I don't know how far to go. I mean,
yeah, it'll be interesting. And what's one of the guy that brought it into fruition is from Concord. So
I didn't see that.
Representative Larry Pittman.
And we just had, of course, we have a new Democrat governor, so he still has to go across his desk to sign, and I don't think he would. Yeah. So
be interesting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have our guest, Leanne with Southern Grace Distilleries. We're really excited about picking her brain on making some shine. And so we'll be back. This is Southern Fried Philosophy.
Well, in North Carolina, way back in the hill, lived my old pappy, and he had him a still. He brewed white lightning until the sun went down, and then you'd fill him a jug and he'd pass it around. Mighty, mighty pleasing, pappy's corn squeezing. White lightning.
If you know me big in it all, you know that I'm crazy about Kentucky and bourbon. So what happens when you throw coffee beans in a bourbon barrel is pure magic. I stumbled upon Kentucky Knows Bourbon Barrel Coffee a few years ago during a trip to Lexington, and it was love at first sip. From the heart of a true craftsman comes the unique combination of coffee and bourbon. Do yourself a favor and check out KentuckyKnows.com to get the finest bourbon barrel coffee the Bluegrass has to offer. That's Kentucky, KNOWS.com. Or you can check out the sponsors link on our website.
Welcome back to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. I want to welcome our guest today. She is from the Southern Grace Distillery, which is a White Lightning American corn whiskey, white something. Miss Leanne Powell, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Well, this is North Carolina, if you know about our podcast. And this is where moonshine and White Lightning and liquor really got to start, us here in Western North Carolina and Tennessee. So
I thought it was on the TV show. No.
It started a little bit before that.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
So, but as long as there's been taxes, there's been whiskey being made illegally, I guess.
Well,
So,
even before that, because I've watched Boardwalk Empire.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
There you go.
Prohibition. So, get us started. My microphone's acting up here.
That's okay. So, Leanne, Southern Grace Distillery is located in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. So, tell me the story. How did it get started, and why here? Why in Concord and Mount Pleasant?
Well, I'm originally from Cabarrus County, so
Okay,
that's
so that
why
helps.
it's here. Absolutely. My partners and I decided to start it in late 2013. It was actually, if you've ever seen one of our Sundog 130 bottles, you've seen the picture of the dog
Looking
on
at it
there,
right now.
Mia. My business partner, Tom, his sweet, sweet dog, Mia, passed away. And it was the same week that a very dear friend of mine, Colonel Hector Henry, who was a doctor here in Concord City Councilman, he passed away that week too. And we had one of those conversation that best friends sometimes have where, what are we doing with our life? We both had been working in politics and had decided that I was done with that. And he had always wanted to make liquor, and I had been involved in politics almost 30 years before that.
Wow.
And knew I wanted to change careers, and the one thing that I'd sort of taken through my career was a love of American-made products.
Okay.
And wanting to bring jobs back to our area.
No China.
Well, we decided on this because you can only make American whiskey and you can only make bourbon in America.
Yeah,
So these are jobs that hopefully we're creating that'll never be exported.
that's awesome.
Well,
So-
until the Chinese or the Japanese buy you.
Sundog now made in Vietnam. Yeah.
Well, it is true, right? Like, there's a lot of, like, Jim Beam and Buffalo Trace are all owned by the Japanese.
A number of them are, yeah. Centauri, absolutely.
Goodness gracious. Stop it.
But they still have to make it here.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So, and then our barrels are made here. So if you think about it, the distilled spirits industry, just through the industry itself, is a big economic engine. And of
Right.
course, we also pay a lot of taxes and help put a lot of kids through school and help pave those roads and do our part.
Oh, goodness gracious.
What an amazing story the last few years though with the micro craft breweries and also the small batch booze shops. I mean, you guys are number one at producing top shelf quality products. It's not the bottom barrel raw gut whiskey of our youth. And so, but it's good stuff. Like I
It
said,
is.
it's also employing local people too.
Well, and a lot of folks don't realize the difference between something that's craft distilled and something that's more mass produced.
Right.
And basically the difference is if you're mass producing something and making thousands and thousands of gallons of it a day, you're basically running a refinery. And there are some fine refineries, and I very much enjoy their products. I'm not giving them a hard time. But when you craft distill, our distiller sits at the still, in front of the still, and he evaluates every gallon by gallon that comes out. Taste, smell, how it looks, to make sure that only the best stuff ends up in the bottle. So it's an art. It's
Yeah,
actually
sure.
an art.
It really is.
True
And
craftsmanship.
it is. And so, when you open one of our bottles, you're getting something that a lot of personal blood, sweat, and tears and labor has gone into. If you've seen one of our Sundog 130 bottles, you see big, crazy written red numbers with the bottle number and the batch number, and that's my handwriting.
Oh, wow.
As the president of the company, I oversee, help bottle, and I write every one of those numbers on and examine every bottle before it goes out.
Holy cow. That's
So.
crazy. I didn't
We
think
have a
about all
good
that
time.
stuff. Yeah.
We have a good time.
So how did it start? Like what was it? How did the actual distillery stuff start?
Well, we were told that it would take about 3 years and about $1 million to be able to get one product to market. This was in January, beginning of February of 2014.
Wow.
We checked on how to get licensed, and the way you get licensed to start a distillery in the United States is you actually have to have a location. You have to build a still. You have to get everything in place, and then you can apply for your federal license. After you get your federal license, then you can apply for your state license. And again, that makes perfect sense that it'd take about 3 years to do all that.
Wow.
We had our location March 1st. We had the still built and everything ready to go and filed our application June 30th. We were licensed September 8th. We turned on our still October, I think, 14th.
Wow.
And we were on the shelves February 19th. So we did it
goodness.
in about 11 months.
Wow. Cow.
So for far less than $1 million.
Wow.
in about 2,200 square feet, the back of Plant 9, Old Cannon Mills Plant 9, the Warren C. Coleman building.
Holy cow.
Thankfully, things went well and people liked it, and we got on the shelf in D.C. almost immediately. In North Carolina, we got picked up in South Carolina, and we needed more space. So we started looking for a new location. The folks in Mount Pleasant had 3 mills closed. They had the old prison closed. The town of Mount Pleasant is 1,400 people. So all of those customers that had been corporate customers buying their water, all that, helping prop up the system, were now gone. So the water rates were going sky high on the residents there. So they were looking for industry to come in that used a lot of water. And by God, we use a lot of water. So they wanted us to come look at some of their old mills. And one of the guys there said, I've got this crazy idea. Do you want to go see the prison? So the mayor drove us around in the church bus. Of course, every Southern story starts with the mayor driving you in a church bus to prison, right?
We need that story.
And they took us, and our product is Sundog 130. We pulled up to the front. There's a little white house that used to be the warden's house when the prison was started, and the number for the address is there, and it's 130 Dutch Road.
Oh, wow.
And I saw that, and I was like, "Oh my Lord, I'm in love." So,
Wow.
so anyway, we looked around, decided we just loved it, and thought it would be a great fit. It took us about a year, actually a little over a year, to get the state to put it on the surplus property list, get it appraised. We worked with partners to get it purchased and moved in, and we were in by the October race. We moved in September 1st, and we were open for visitors October 2nd.
Wow. Well, Mojo and I took the haunted tour.
Yes.
So we'll talk about
Prison
that.
After Dark.
Listen, it's a beautiful. I mean, it's a rustic, beautiful facility. I mean, it's an old prison, and like I was telling Leanne earlier today, or a little while ago, is that it's hard to believe that people actually were in prison there less than 5-6 years ago. I mean,
Right.
because when we seen it, it was just. I think at their peak they had people triple stacked, quadruple stacked in bunks. I mean, it was just. I can't imagine the crowdedness and the heat.
And it looks like it's from The Walking Dead. Like it's, at least when we were there. Of course, we were at night, so we didn't see a whole lot.
Yeah, but
But,
it had that same feeling though. I mean, and it just I'm sure there's so much history there too. From like the bullet
in the doorway.
yeah, the doorway
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. So just some unique history there. But
They're great stories, and I hope y'all come do one of our day tours sometime and see our film, where we talk about all the ways dogs sort of fit into the history of that prison. It was one of the first places in North Carolina that inmates actually took dogs that were set to be euthanized and started training them.
Oh, wow.
Because that prison had done such a great job training their hound dogs over the years, their bloodhounds, and their bloodhounds from that prison were used all throughout the Piedmont. If there was a lost child or some need for a bloodhound, it wasn't just for chasing prisoners. They would use the bloodhounds from there. So
that's pretty cool.
yeah, kind of cool history.
Yeah. No doubt.
And of course, we've made history because we're the first distillery in a former prison in the United States. There's only one other one in the whole world. It's in Belfast, in Ireland.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So,
That is really cool.
I have to scratch off my bucket list to go to the other one now.
me too. I want to go.
Nailed it.
Take a whole crew trip.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's do it. What has been in the process, like the hardest thing or the most difficult thing that you've had to come through or overcome to this? Or
I would probably say it would have to be the federal and state bureaucracy from time to time can be challenging. But again, in my former life, I was accustomed to having to cut through some red tape. So I've taken those lessons and tried to work my way through.
You pulled out that blackmail file,
No. But no, don't talk about that.
Russian hackers.
But if like when we were in downtown in Concord, when we were at the old mill, we had a tasting room that we had set up in downtown Concord because that followed federal law. According to federal law, your tasting room cannot be in the same building that you are distilling in.
okay.
North Carolina law says your tasting room can't be anywhere but in the same building.
Oh, wow.
So we
Imagine that.
actually had to construct a wall and get an architect to separate the building where we have our distilled spirits plant is now a different building than the solitary confinement where y'all did your tasting when you came to
Oh,
visit.
yeah. That's right.
It's amazing how federal law contradicts state law and vice versa. You know,
Bless their hearts.
Quite often. Bless their heart. Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
If you're listening out there, any government bureaucrat from the any kind of type of commission, bless your heart is an insult in the South. Because you're a moron.
So what's been the greatest accomplishment so far?
I'm really proud of our new product that we have. It's called Sundog Pink Lemonade.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody who's tried our 130 knows that the 130 is for the proof. It's 130 proof.
Spicy.
Folks were, but we've won 2 gold medals. We're very proud of that. But as we were looking at it, and folks were saying that they like a lower proof product, and we knew we wanted to do a flavored product. It took a long time to put one together because the way it's done in this industry is you put a bunch of sugar with a bunch of low, subgrade liquor, and then you throw some chemicals in that smell like or taste like whatever flavor it is.
Nailed it.
It's terrible.
Right.
And you put a bunch of color in.
Yeah.
Or, you put a bunch of color in, that sort of thing. And not that there aren't good products out there, but the majority are like that. We literally had to go to Washington State to a company called Northwest Naturals to find somebody who could help us do a fresh frozen concentrate that they flash freeze, that the color for our pink lemonade is actually done with raspberries, and it's
wow.
actual real lemons in the lemonade. Imagine that. And it's not a ton of sugar. In fact, we could have been classified as a cordial if we had added more sugar, but I figure if you want it sweeter, add some Sprite or
Right.
There you go.
put it with some sweet tea.
Right.
But so anyway, I'm
that's
really
a cranked up Arnie Palmer right there.
isn't it?
yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
I think they call that a John Daly.
Yeah, that's one thing
Buddy Ford.
I can't say. Like, I can't say those words together. Like, I get all tongue tied.
What's that? Arnie Palmer.
Yeah. And so my wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "You know what I want. Just order it for me." She's like, "Say it, Arnold Palmer." See, like it doesn't come out right.
Well, now you say a Sundog Pink Lemonade and tea.
There you
I'll
go.
say that. Yes,
There
ma'am.
you go.
And I don't want to be or sound hypocritical. We had a couple of shows ago. We had
Addiction expert.
addiction expert who talked about alcohol and how it's like the number one addiction
yeah.
that people have to deal with. And from our point of view, like I enjoy bourbon. Nobody can deny that. I just don't take it to the extreme and just get liquored up. So if you're listening to the show and like you guys are just
Yeah,
hypocrites,
don't misconstrue. Yeah.
right? I mean, their product is really good. But like with everything, it's
Yeah.
in moderation.
We like food, but we don't endorse buffets
Actually, I do.
or marathon buffets.
There you go. Yeah, no, that probably not.
Well, and an important component of our company is we know that there's some bad side effects to people who overindulge in drinking. As you said, it's overindulge in anything. But we have made a concerted effort to give back to the community through our sales.
Very cool.
Sundog 130, we make a contribution to animal shelters for every bottle we sell. For the pink lemonade, we make a contribution to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation.
Nice.
We're going to have an apple come out, Habitat for Humanity for that one. Various ones. Our bourbon, when it comes out, we're going to do something that has to do with environmental farmland preservation, something along those lines. We're looking over folks now. So
or my retirement fund.
well, there's that.
There
is that. But
because I'll be drinking a ton of it in moderation.
In
moderation,
Yeah.
exactly. So
You don't have to call Mackie on that. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I
That's really
understand
cool.
what you're saying, and we certainly we endorse that. And
Drink responsible. That's what you're saying.
absolutely.
I think it probably even says it on the bottle somewhere. Right?
It certainly does.
There you go.
It
Well, I mean,
certainly
yeah,
does.
if they don't drink responsible, then you don't have a return customer, so obviously
Oh yeah.
we want you to cycle through again. So otherwise, you might end up in, I had a heart transplant, so you might end up on the donor list quickly if you keep drinking.
Oh, really? Does that help? Probably not. Right?
It probably helps like people like me that need a heart
Oh.
or needed a heart.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what's the 10-year plan for Sundog?
Well, for Sundog, we have our Sundog 130, which we want to be expanding to other states.
Okay.
We just got licensed in Louisiana, so
Nice.
we're looking forward to going there soon.
Okay.
We're even thinking about going up north to Wisconsin.
Uh-oh.
They're the number one drinkers per
Really?
capita in the United States.
Gotta stay warm somehow.
They like Southern spirits,
Oh,
so
there you
I
go.
think that's a good thing. We'll be rolling out, we've already rolled out the pink lemonade. We'll have caramel apple dumpling
Oh,
coming for
no.
the fall.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after that, a pineapple. And we've got actually a 100 proof product that'll be coming out, Zero Dark 130, that honors the military.
That's really
and
cool.
we're making contributions to nonprofits that help military families for the first year. It's going to be the North Carolina USO.
Very cool.
And then we got our bourbons coming. We've got some baby barrels brewing some bourbon right now.
Now
They're
you're talking
10
my
gallons. They're 10-gallon barrels, so they age at about 3 times the speed of the big
That's
53
crazy.
ones. It is crazy, but you still get the deep, very traditional. It's not like the folks that put ultraviolet light on it
Right.
or put sound waves through it or whatever.
Have you thought about putting it on a shipping cargo and letting it go around for 70 days and then...
We were thinking about putting it on like the Rocky River or the PD on somebody's fishing boat. Yeah. Exactly. How awesome would that be?
Oh my God. There's Jefferson's does that, and it's like...
The sea.
Yeah, it is insane. Like, really, like anything you can think of.
The
Anyway.
extra step.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
That's
we're
really cool.
we'll be having that bourbon come out hopefully by Christmas, assuming it's ready, and then we've got our big barrel bourbon that will be mature in about 2.5 to 3 years.
So what's the rule for bourbon versus
To be a bourbon,
American white corn whiskey? Is that
well,
right? Did I do it right?
Our recipe for our small batch American white whiskey is 88% corn, 12% malted barley.
Okay.
To be a bourbon, you have to be 51% corn.
Check.
You have to age in a virgin American oak white barrel
Hey, buddy.
that has been charred.
Mm-hmm.
And there actually isn't, for just to be bourbon, any time
Okay.
statement that has to be associated with that unless you're a straight bourbon. If you're a straight bourbon, it has to be at least 2 years.
Okay.
And then you also have to age it, and I believe it's between 75 and 110 proof. And we've gone into the barrel at 100.1.
Nice.
So.
And you can't do anything to the water too, right? Like you can't add anything.
Right. I mean,
Water,
there are people that do rectify and put stuff in, put in chips and put in inserts and
Right.
that sort of thing. If you do that, you have to put that as part of your recipe.
Yeah.
But ours is just, it's our white whiskey that we've put some purified water in to get it down to the 100 proof, and then we stick it in the barrels.
Yeah, and it really is good stuff. As a semi connoisseur, like it's really smooth. You guys, I mean, we may or may not be having some right now. So, what do you guys think? Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm not much of a whiskey drinker, but I went back for seconds, and I'm out loving this. I'm definitely gonna be picking some up.
Nice. Very
That
cool.
is a nice compliment. Thank you.
It's first time we tasted it at the prison was great. Second time was even better. So.
Yeah, we bought some lemonade and brought it back to the house, and we enjoyed that.
Did you?
After the
Good.
tour, yeah, it was great.
I'm so glad.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so we're going. Any more questions? Do you guys have questions?
Just curious, how many, when you first started out, how many employees did you start out with, and how many do you have now?
Well, it was just the 3 original partners
Okay.
working there to begin with, and now it is myself. We have a full-time distiller. We have 5 part-time salespeople. We have 4 part-time tour people, and then we have a fermentation specialist.
So you guys are,
and we're hoping to grow even bigger.
yeah. Well, I'm
soon.
sure once you come up with your other products and stuff like that, and you'll.
Yeah. No, we find we need more help. So,
That's awesome.
It's
So
a
where do I
good
put in my
thing.
application?
There you go.
You can see me later.
Full-time taster. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
So, any advice or words of wisdom to someone who is interested in not necessarily opening a distillery, but opening a business for the first time? You need pearls of pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, perseverance. Just make sure that you've planned it out well. Make sure that you are capitalized to a point that you can actually do whatever it is you're going to do. Just persevere. Just don't let anybody tell you no. And by the way, we've had a cool thing that was announced today. I don't know if you guys saw it on Facebook, but Cabarrus Brewing has actually gotten our first barrel, our test barrel that we did our first bourbon in, and they're starting to age some beer in our bourbon barrels, and they'll be doing that.
Very
ongoing.
nice.
So we're really proud of our friends at Cabarrus Brewing and glad to be partnering with them.
Absolutely.
Upcycle a barrel.
Yeah.
I like that.
So for my bachelor party, we actually went to a distillery up in or out in Nashville, and we went to tasting stuff like that. What do you guys do? How does your tastings work? You have stuff like that going?
Yeah, you can go to whiskeyprison.com and book a tour every Friday and Saturday. We do tours at 12:30, 2, and 3:30. And then the second Friday of every month, we have Food Truck Friday.
Ooh.
And we do tours during that. And then at 7 p.m., we do our After Dark tour. I think we've only got 8 spaces left for March 10th. Those
Nice.
sell out really quickly, but we hope folks will come see us.
Awesome.
And that's where you go around and you see if the prison is haunted.
Yes.
Right? So, and you said there actually is somebody did a video. And
Somebody did a video. It's up on Facebook with it was like a shadow walking into a wall when the building was empty.
Oh, wow.
And we've had folks out with the little meters, and there are certain places that everybody's meters seem to keep going off.
Sam and Dean from Supernatural were out there trying to demon hunt. Yeah.
But I'm really happy that the little meters never go off in manufacturing in my office. Because, yeah.
There you go. What's the 10-year plan from now? Where do you guys see yourself?
I think we'll be throughout the Southeast and maybe national by then.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'll be employed by you. Fantastic.
Or at least sponsored by you.
Right. That'd be great.
And by the way, I'm so happy that you guys are associated with Kentucky Nose. I
Right.
love Tony. It's such a great company. In fact, we sell his barrel char.
Right. We need you to
his
get
grilling char in our store.
that coffee because that coffee
Yes.
is legit.
It's so
Yes.
good.
Right.
Jason
I'm going to
tried.
get that coffee
Yeah.
my next order. I think
Please
I'm
do.
down to 2 grilling chars. I'm going to get coffee the next time.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You brought something back for me when you came back from Kentucky. It was so
That's
good.
what I do. I have to do orders and then bring them on
I
back.
mean, just smelling it. I mean, you don't even, and I'm not a real coffee drinker, but I love his coffee.
And he has different flavors and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. So please, I would love it if you could do like freight shipping to. That would make my job a whole lot easier.
We'll have to do that.
All right, so we're gonna play a little game if you're
Okay.
okay with that. It's called 10 in 1. I'm gonna ask you 10 questions and try to do it in under a minute.
Good
All
luck.
right, so we're gonna do our best on that. All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, so Southern Comfort or Amazing Grace?
Southern Comfort.
What's your favorite brand of coffee?
It would be Kentucky Nose.
Ding, ding, ding. If you were in a zombie apocalypse, where would you go?
My prison.
Moonshiners or honeymooners?
Honeymooners.
Best place to get a drink?
Downtown at Allen's Bar at Union Street Bistro.
Okay. What's the last TV show that you binge watched?
That would probably be Scandal.
We'll have to talk
I
about
thought you
that.
said you retired at DC.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most in 2017?
Caramel apple dumpling and my bourbon.
Yes, ma'am. And then Buffalo Trace or Woodford?
Woodford.
Favorite childhood memory?
Growing up in downtown Concord.
Nice. And what is your spirit food?
Ooh, it's a biscuit.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
you
y'all.
weren't
Thank you
married.
so much.
Oh, goodness. Listen, can you just stay on the show? Because your voice just makes everybody
It's
melt
like
like
butter.
butter,
It's like
right?
pancake syrup and butter.
I want
Y'all
some
are too
pancakes and
kind.
biscuits right now. That's all I want. What if you did a pancake in a biscuit? I'm just saying. Let's think about that. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It was such
my
a great
pleasure.
time.
Come back and see us.
Oh, yes, we definitely will. Any last words of wisdom?
You gave out your website. Can you give that out again?
Sure.
And some social media stuff like that?
Yes. Whiskeyprison.com, or you can find us at southerngracedistilleries.com, and on Instagram we're Southern Grace NC, same on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook at Southern Grace Distilleries at Mount Pleasant Prison.
Very cool. Well, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank
Things
you.
that you guys learned from the show? Any parting tips?
About the aging times,
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I guess I probably could have looked it up. But, just some things you just don't think to look up. So I learned that, and then let's see what else.
You know what I learned? I learned that when we have a guest, Jeremy should not wear sweatpants.
I hear you. Or open-toed shoes.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
I learned that Leanne's like the third person I know in all of Concord is actually from Concord.
Oh, yeah. That's
Because
a good call.
that never happens. So.
Yeah, I learned that I should not try to take clothes out of a clothes
Close
donation
bin,
center. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
I
shouldn't do that.
learned that there is a whiskey I like,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
I
probably,
like it a lot. Just so we're on the same page.
You know where they don't have that whiskey? No, I'll just leave that there. All right. So, again, thank you so much for being on the show. And
Thank you.
This is Southern Fried Philosophy, and hope you had a great time. And as always, keep it rolling.